Hello, welcome back to Learn Energy Healing. Today we're going to continue a little bit more from what we did on the last two videos, this time working on chakras just to illustrate how you can use your inner vision, your third eye if you like, on chakras as well. If you haven't seen the videos I've done previously on chakras and the videos on using our sense of touch, etc., please go back and watch those first so that it's easier to understand this video. So I've got my little paper cone shape like I've done in the past to illustrate the chakras. So in a lot of models of the chakras, they are cone shape, and when you look at the person, they should be spinning clockwise like this. Okay, so this is what we can visualize in our mind, using our mind's eye, using our imagination, if you like. We're trying to visualize to see whether the chakra is spinning clockwise, whether it is in a cone shape. Maybe it might be spinning anti-clockwise, maybe it might be going left to right, up or down, or in a weird movement of some sort. But ideally, this is what we will be seeing in our mind's eye when the chakra is nice and balanced. So, just like we did in the last couple of videos, we're just going to look at the person who wants to be healed, my wife again, looking bright with this light shining on her. So we're setting the intention to see chakras now, and I'm just using my imagination to see. So let's just pick maybe the solar plexus here and just see what I can see there. So I'm setting the intention to see what it is, seeing it spin clockwise and in a cone shape if it's nice and balanced, intending to see whether it's spinning the wrong way or whether it's not spinning at all. So I'm just feeling into what might be going on there. So in my mind's eye, it looks a little bit defensive, but it is spinning clockwise to some degree or another. So going back to our verification to see whether your imagery, whether you're able to picture what's going on there correctly or not. We're going to use several forms of verification today. So again, please go back and look at the chakra video for using the pendulum. So you can verify it with a pendulum. Is it correct, what I was picking up? So again, setting my intention to just let whatever come through. And yeah, pretty much what I suspected. So it's quite defensive. I don't know if you can see that much on the video, but it's going more this way and this way, suggesting quite defensiveness, so left to right. But it is going clockwise, so it's like an elliptical movement like this. Just what I thought in my mind. So that's one level of verification you can use. Of course, you can use your hand as well to see how it feels next to your hand. Is it spinning clockwise? Is it even? So again, go back and watch the video there to get better at using that form of verification. And of course, if the person's sensitive enough, aware enough, you can ask them for another level of verification. So I don't know how well you can feel this chakra.
Well, I don't know.
You don't know, yeah. It's difficult. So even for people who are quite sensitive, they don't necessarily know whether a chakra is open or not, whether it's flowing, whether it's balanced. It's quite difficult for most people unless they've practiced it, done courses on it, and spent time feeling into it. So yeah. So it's quite nice that we have the pendulum to have another level of verification there. So I know what I was imagining in my mind is the same as what the pendulum was saying, same as what my hand was saying. So that's lovely to verify that what I'm supposedly imagining is actually correct. So what we're going to do now is balance that chakra using my mind's eye. So just like we have done it with our hands in the past, this time I'm imagining the chakra there. I can imagine my hands there if I want, passing energy to that particular chakra, or I can just simply do it all in my mind's eye. So I can see it going elliptical, more left to right, like I was saying earlier. And there's two different methods I can use. So I'll do one method on this chakra, and then hopefully we'll find another chakra that might be need some work on to do a different method. So on this particular one, I'm just going to watch it. Just setting my intention for the chakra to be balanced. I'm just watching what it's doing. I'm not forcing it to change to a circular, clockwise, nice balanced chakra. I'm just watching it, seeing what it's doing. So in my mind's eye, it's starting to wobble a little bit. I'm just watching it, intending it to be balanced. And then eventually, in my mind's eye, it will start to seem nice and balanced and circular and clockwise. Okay, so that's feeling a little bit better now. In my mind's eye, it's more circular now, but it's still wobbling. It's still not perfect. So I'm just watching it again, just intending for it to become nice and balanced and seeing what else will happen. And of course, I can do this with my eyes open or with my eyes closed. I'm doing it with my eyes open now. Sometimes it's easier to have your eyes open so that you're seeing the actual area of where the chakra would be. Okay, so that's evening out now, and I can see energy coming out of the chakra as well, some stuck energy at the same time. We can go into, more detailed analysis of what you may be seeing in your mind's eye in another video, but we're going to keep it nice and simple for today. So this is what I'm seeing it's doing now. It's much more like a cone shape, so it should be more circular when I place the pendulum in it. Again, you can verify it with your hand. You can verify it by asking, did you feel any difference?
Maybe a bit.
Maybe a bit, so nothing really obvious from my wife's point of view. From my point of view in my mind, it's much more circular. Some energy came out and it's flowing much better there. With my hand, yeah, it's much more obvious, the brush of the energy against my hand. So again, I can verify with the pendulum as well. Okay. Not much energy moving through it because it's not getting started yet. Okay, so it's going clockwise and it's much, much more circular now.
Okay.
So in my mind's eye, and from what I'm feeling, I can still do more work on the chakra to draw more energy out, allow more energy in, but it's much more balanced now and open. So again, people you may work on might not be that aware of when the chakra is open or not. So let's have a look at another one. And in my mind's eye, I'm picking up on something already. So I'm looking at the front of the second chakra. And in my mind's eye, it's jumbling around a bit. So there's obviously something changing there. And when it does that, by the way, by the time you move to another form of verification, it might have changed by then because there's already energy changing it and moving around. So it feels like it's, jumbling around, quite defensive, a lot of left to right movement, but jumping around a little bit. And again, I can verify with my hand. Yeah, and I don't get the sense of it being circular and brushing quite so much there. And again, you can ask, they might be aware. Do you feel anything in particular there, or a lack of energy movement?
Well, maybe if I tune into it, maybe a little bit, but if I'm not really focused there, there's nothing that's super obvious.
So nothing super obvious, she says. So again, like I was saying earlier, people who haven't practiced may not necessarily notice. So again, I've got an image in my mind, I've felt with my hand, I've asked. Let's verify, have another level of verification and bring the pendulum in. And again, setting the intention to see whatever is there. So yeah, it's jumping around a bit, isn't it? So it's left and right, and then it was clockwise for a little second there, and then anti-clockwise. So it's jumbling around, isn't it? Not much movement though, if you notice. It's Most of that movement is because my body is wobbling. It's not really so much but it's jumping around, isn't it? So there's left and right. That's much more obvious, left and right. So yeah, it's jumping around quite a bit, mostly left and right movement, just as I was imagining in my mind. Note I'm using the word imagine here, and as you can tell, as you start to play around with these visual practices that I'm doing in this video and the previous and the next few videos, you will start to realize that, well, what is imagination? What is reality and what is imagination? And you may get the impression that they're the same thing eventually. Anyway, we verified in multiple ways what I was imagining or seeing in my mind's eye, what I was picturing in my head, if you like. And let's do a slightly different method. So last time I was just watching, just seeing what it was doing and letting it do what it wanted, and let it gradually become a balanced chakra. This time around, I'm going to imagine that my hands are there and allowing energy to pass into the chakra. So I'm imagining my hands are here like this, a bit like we were doing before with the chakra videos in the past. I'm just imagining that my hands are there and passing energy through the chakra to balance it that way instead. And I'm getting the impression you're feeling something this time. And she's verifying it. She's saying she does feel something with the nod of her head. Again, you can do this eyes open, eyes closed. I'm already starting to feel there's more clockwise movement. It's not perfect. It's still resisting it a little bit. Okay, so I'm imagining my hands around the chakra, that there's less energy passing between my imaginary hands and the chakra at the moment. There's still energy moving. And it's starting to look much more balanced, much more clockwise. You feeling any change now?
I'm looking around a bit.
Yeah, so she's feeling energy moving around the pelvis. Okay, so I'm imagining that it's looking a lot better now. Much more clockwise, not perfect. So let's do it a little bit more just to make it a little bit more balanced, because even though it's circular and more like a cone shape in my mind, it's moving around a little bit. Let's do a little bit more. Okay. Good. That's looking much better to me. So again, does it feel a bit better there?
A little bit.
A little bit better, she says. Okay, so I can again verify with my hand, verify with the pendulum as well. So what am I feeling here? And yeah, I'm feeling much more of a brush of energy in this direction against my hand. You can verify it this way like I did in earlier videos as well. And again, let's bring the pendulum in. Setting the intention to see what's there. Here we go. I started to think that it wasn't really picking up the circular motion to start with, but there it is. So not a very big movement of the pendulum. So we know that there's, starting to pick up a little bit more now. It's much more circular, still jostling around a little bit. So it's not perfect still, but much, much more circular. So there's still energy moving in and out of there, still changes happening. And it's becoming more and more and more circular and bigger now, if you notice. Good. So that's my third level of verification there. The other thing you can do is just imagine a perfect chakra already. So even if you get the sense that the chakra is going anti-clockwise or jumping around different directions, you can imagine that the chakra is already spinning clockwise in a beautiful cone shape. And you will get the sense when it does shift and become what you are forcing it to be, if that makes sense. So let's have a look for another one. The heart is feeling pretty good, looking pretty good as always. Let's see, let's maybe do the third eye here. Okay, so let's tune into the third eye chakra here. So here, I'm imagining that it's, there's some general clockwise movement, but it's, again, a little bit defensive, jumping around a little bit in my mind's eye. So again, use different levels of verification. How does it feel here? Does it feel a bit stuck?
Yeah.
A bit jumpy?
Stuck.
A bit stuck? Okay. And then I can, again, verify with my hand. And again, it's not an obvious brush in a clockwise manner. It's kind of jumping and moving in different directions. And then again, bring in the pendulum. What's it doing? Setting the intention to see what's there rather than what I've already come to the conclusion of. So a little bit clockwise, but it's going up and down and left and right and clockwise again and then stop. So it's jumping around a bit just like I was seeing in my mind's eye. So this time, we're going to imagine that the chakra, even though we know that it's jumping around and it's not perfect yet, we're going to imagine that it's already a cone shape and spinning clockwise. So you're pretending that it's already perfect. So let's do that now. And usually with this, it's usually good to pair this with a different sense as well, because you might feel a shift in your own body if you're using the merging technique. You might feel a shift in the energy in front of you. You might also see something. So you could, if you wanted to, imagine a tick appear in your mind's eye when it does become what you are imagining it. That's another way you can do it. I'm just imagining that the chakra is already perfect. And then I'm programming myself to see a tick in my mind's eye once it's done. Again, eyes open, eyes closed, doesn't really matter. And again, I get the sense she's feeling something there. She's nodding. Okay. I got a tick in my mind's eye. I also felt it in my own body. I was unintentionally feeling it in my own body too. So that's feeling more open, more clockwise now. I don't know if you felt something different there. Okay. So there we go. First level of verification there. Again, you can put the hand, quite obviously going clockwise there now with my hand. And again with the pendulum. So not much movement yet though with the pendulum. Here we go, starting to go clockwise. So obviously not much energy passing through there yet. Here we go. Probably because the pendulum was wobbling a little bit before I started. So much more obviously clockwise. Still a little bit of a wobble, but getting better. There we go. Much, much nicer. Okay. So I hope that illustrates that you can use the visual techniques that I've done in the last two videos on chakras as well. I will do more videos on different aspects of using your inner vision, but I hope that's useful for now. I hope that's obvious what I was doing. If it isn't, please do write in the comment section below or email me, of course. And please do like and subscribe if you'd like to support this channel, and I will see you in the next video.